left, and I'm just like, the black suit? He's attacking the soldiers? All right, welcome back to the Final Reaction. Nick here, and I am bringing you my review on episode 2 of Superman and Lois. And wait, let's make this a little more super. All right, that was a bad gag, but you know, I couldn't help myself. So, super excited about this episode. After the first episode, if you saw my review for the pilot, I absolutely loved it. Thought it was fantastic. Had very little to complain about it. This episode, I was worried about because I wonder, are they going to use all the budget for the first episode to wow us and hook us in and then maybe go down a little bit? I don't think that was the case. I think they definitely spared no expense on this one as well. The special effects were just as good as the first one. I had made a comment in my first episode that I thought the special effects were just okay, not fantastic. Again, that's comparing it to like a cinematic experience. The episode played like a cinematic experience by itself. The longer episode, some of the scenes were shot in certain ways, but that might have been a harsh criticism because those special effects are very, very good, especially for a show on the CW where maybe it doesn't have as much of the channel doesn't have as much of a budget as like a big cable network. So regardless of all that, special effects were fantastic. This episode was a lot of fun. This is going to be a show that I know I'm going to love. And after having 2 episodes back-to-back of amazing quality, amazing episodes, I know we're in for it. I was watching the Real Rejects reaction to episode 1 earlier today, and Greg Alba said it best when he's like, man, we actually have a Superman show. How cool is that? And I definitely echo those sentiments. It's so cool. I'm such a huge fan of Smallville, and for me, I have not seen Superman on the small screen in the way that I want to since then. So this is just so much fun. Tyler Hoechlin, that plays Superman and Clark Kent, does a fantastic job in this episode once again. And I noticed in this episode that he sounds a lot like Henry Cavill. At least I feel he does. So that's pretty cool. I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan. This episode, man, there's just so much to unpack. It's so good. I'm going to get to that final scene at the end. But this face was the face I had when they showed us that ending scene at the very end of the episode. So, like I said in the first episode review, that we're going to follow the kids. This is going to be mainly their story. But it's not just mainly their story. It's also the parents. We didn't have too much Lois in the first episode. We got a lot more of her in this episode. That was nice because she's the title character, for crying out loud, her and Superman. We had ramifications of them moving. We had Superman still trying to find his place as the kid's father. We had some really cool stuff where Superman's taken Jordan, his son that's shown powers. And how would he not? He's got the dark hair, right? Just like his father. Takes him to the Fortress of Solitude. And when they get to the Fortress of Solitude, I'm just like, this is why this show is awesome. This is why this is a true Superman show. You have to have the Fortress of Solitude. You have to pay homage to it. You have to pay respect to how it helped Superman, like we see in 1978, how it helped Superman realize who he was, because he had no one to guide him. He had the Fortress of Solitude and the Library of Krypton in those crystals to help guide him the way. So, super cool that we go there. I absolutely loved it. And they're doing some tests. And Jordan's just like on cloud 9. He's like, not only am I destined for something, I might be destined for greatness like my father, who's Superman, who still recently realized that. So that was really cool for them to visit a few times. And of course, you know, he gets some bad news where, you know, Jor-El, who I wasn't a big fan of the casting for Jor-El. I gotta be honest, I just wasn't. You kind of want someone who's just gonna pop off the screen, even if it's a small screen, when they're playing a character like Jor-El. And you know, I was as impressed as I was when they replaced Jor-El, Marlon Brando, in the second Superman. So I mean, that was a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. He finds out that he's not as super as his dad, and so he's frustrated about that, and that plays for a good storyline. So we have Jonathan Kent going to school. The parents didn't want to send Jordan for obvious reasons. They weren't worried about if he can control things, so they sent him to school, and he's got to deal with the ramifications, the aftermath of Jordan kissing, what was her name? Sarah Cushing, kissing her, and her boyfriend being upset about. They're all on the football team. He's excited to try the football team. He's going to start from stage 1, basically, as a freshman. And he's dealing with those situations, and he shares later on that he's frustrated about that. I thought that was cool to give him some dimension to where he wasn't just the golden boy. The thing that was interesting is Sarah in this episode, she seems to be so mad that Jordan's not there that she automatically clings on to Jonathan. And it makes you think, like, oh, maybe she got a little crush on Jonathan? Maybe she had a crush all along, and so that's why she said, you, Jordan, here's your thing. Or I want you to show me around, or whatever she did, you do this. It made me think, like, oh, maybe she has a secret crush on Jonathan, and then Jordan was the safe pick for her, so she chose to get closer to him. And then when he kissed her, it might not have been just because her boyfriend was there, but also like, whoa, I thought we were just going to be friends. So that was kind of interesting. It seemed like she turned really quickly to her attention to him. Maybe that's because she secretly has a crush on him. That's going to play for interesting storylines later on for serious drama. But he has to deal with that, and he shared his frustrations, so that was cool. We got a lot more Lois. She's looking into Morgan Edge, her boss of the Daily Planet, who she's not happy with, who Mr. Cushing thinks that he's going to be the savior of the town. And so her storyline was cool, and she got to do some things, and she got to show who she was, and she did that whole letter situation, and that whole thing was fantastic. I thought she was great. I think the actress that plays Lois, like I said in the first episode, I think she really gets this character, Elizabeth Tulloch. I really think she has a fine job in this role. Lois Lane, again, in my opinion, is a tough role to play. She does great in that. And then you have, like, you kind of the tension between Cushing and Lois and Clark and all this kind of stuff. And they're still trying to, the ramifications of moving there. Some of the things I thought was really cool. The small details, again, look great in this show. They had the moving boxes after a few days of being there. They're eating dinner. Most shows are going to put all those things away. They're not going to think about it in real life. It's going to take some time to unpack. I thought it was interesting, though, how they had hired movers move this stuff out. I mean, it's Superman, for crying out loud. Clark Kent with his boys, they can load up those boxes, lickety split. They don't need to hire a moving company. And then when they moved, I was really thrown off. It was really distracting me how small the trailer was. How teeny tiny that trailer was for all their stuff. They're moving to Kansas. And I thought to myself, well, the Kent farm is fully furnished. They probably sold off some of their furniture they didn't need, and they probably just brought their clothes and their dishes and whatnot. But still, I've moved a few times. It's not just dishes. It's not just clothes. It's kids' beds and all this kind of stuff. Like, you're not going to fit that in a trailer. That was a really small thing, but it really did distract me quite a bit. So that was kind of funny. But in this episode, the thing I'm most interested in, I'm interested in the boys and their high school stuff and what's going on. I really am. I'm really interested. It reminds me of Smallville once again. But I'm really interested in Captain Luthor. I had asked last time, was this guy someone in the comics I didn't know about? And I did some research. I couldn't find too much on Captain Luthor. And then the Real Rejects, just like that, they're so quick. They're like, hey, maybe it's an alternate dimension type of Luthor. He's from a different reality. And I'm like, that's interesting. And so we get a lot more information in this one, and this is what really blew me away. He gives the little dog tag pendant with the S on it, almost like they were part of Superman Soldier Squad, with a little S on it to Sam Lane. And he does the full Iron Man from Homecoming, where he's not really in the suit, or from Iron Man 3, where he's not really in the suit, but he's controlling it from somewhere else remotely. And he goes and he gives him the pendant, and he's like, we got to stop Superman. We've got to take care of this Sam, to hell and back again, he says later on. The actor that plays Luthor, Wool Parks, I don't know this guy, but he's fantastic. I love him in this role. Just his presence and his facial expressions when he's delivering just a little bit of dialogue. He's really tapped into this character, and he's going to be great throughout this episode, throughout the season and the series. Hopefully, he's not a one and done. But we get more information on him. Okay, so apparently there's another reality that he comes from, another version of Earth that he comes from, and he's very angry at Superman for whatever reason. And Superman's like, I haven't done anything to this guy. He's from a different planet. What's going on? He has the suit to be able to do certain things. First, I was thinking, well, maybe he was powerful on his planet, but not on this one. But no. He obviously built that suit. He got the kryptonite together so that he could be, he can be able to match up with Superman, which he's done pretty good. But then he ran out of kryptonite, and he thought there was some here, and he can't find that, so he's kind of in a lurch there. But we find out that he has a connection with Sam Lane, that he is trying to get to Kryptonite. He's trying to get to Sam. He's trying to get to Superman and stop him. And then we have that ending scene. We have the ending scene where it shows a flashback of his life where he's in there in the trenches. Sam's his general, other soldiers there. And then you see Superman, and I called it right before they showed it. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought black suit. We see Superman in a black suit. I think he had a cape. I don't think it was capeless with the black suit, and they call it ocular. He has the laser eyes right there on all the guys in the trenches. And I'm just like, the black suit? He's attacking the soldiers? What's going on? And I've admitted many times on any channel I'm on that I do not know the comics. I don't. I love the character. I love the films. I've read some of the comics, but I don't know the comics too well. And you can't see, but I have Death of Superman comic right there that I put on my wall. But I don't know a lot about the comics. And so I'm thinking to myself, black suit. I did some research. I looked some stuff up. We know that Zack Snyder had a plan with the black suit, and I'm sure it's going to happen in Justice League, the Snyder Cut. But I had the impression that the black suit meant like evil Superman. But all the research I did, all the reading I did, that's not necessarily the case. Zack Snyder has a quote from a little while ago where he said that he sees a black suit as a suit that connects Clark or Kal-El to Krypton. And the blue and the red is like the Earth connection. And so when he puts on that black suit, it's like his connection to Krypton. And if you go to Smallville and how Jor-El is portrayed in that series, which I wasn't a fan of, his whole thing was, I sent Clark so that he can dominate Earth and that he can rule Earth. And he can bring Kryptonians where they should be on Earth, ruling everything. So it made me think, like, are they going like a mesh of those two things where Clark in the other reality, Superman, Kal-El realized that he needs to look out for number one? Because in the comics, it's used first, I believe, or one of the first times is as a regeneration suit that he uses after the death of Superman, comes back eventually in the suit. He's not fully regenerated his powers. It helps him regenerate a little quicker. It helps focus the rays of the sun and gets him those powers. Or something along those lines. I probably butchered that. And then there's other iterations that we see the black suit. Some with the cape, some without the cape. But not too many, at least I can find. And please let me know in the comment section where he is evil Superman because he puts on that black suit. So is the other reality a situation where it's a regeneration suit because he recently died? Is it a different iteration? Is it the last son of Krypton? You know, that AI, that Kryptonian AI from the comic books. Is that really Superman? I can't imagine even in a different reality because I'm such a Superman fan that's really Superman. It could be the last son of Krypton. It could be a different iteration. It could be, the whole Doomsday situation and now Superman came and why is he firing on us? Again, the dog tags had an S on it, so they had to be part of his army, Superman squad. I don't know why he would need an army, but so many questions. So many questions. We got some answers. We got a lot more questions. This show is just so fantastic. I had some issues like with the trailer and with some of the kind of the cheesier moments. Jordan is a character to me that is fascinating, but they've got to be very careful because they don't want him to be too whiny. They don't want that whole shtick to run out too quick where he's just always going to whine and cry and throw a tantrum. But he also brings a lot of well-roundedness to the show. A lot of different avenues and conflicts with character, with family, with situations. I'm telling you, that girl, Sarah, she's got a crush on Jonathan, and that's going to cause trouble. We see him smiling and chumming up with her later on, but I don't think she has eyes for Jordan. I really don't think she has eyes for Jonathan. The actor that plays Jonathan, Kent, does a fantastic job as well. Last thing I want to say is I feel for Clark. He's trying to not the last thing. He's trying to figure out how to be Superman, how to be a dad. Doesn't have his job to tie him down, but he's got to figure out eventually how to provide because now him and Lois are out of jobs on the Daily Planet. She's getting a job at the Smallville Gazette. Can't imagine it pays too much. Yes, they have this house, but they just paid off the rest of the house, right? So they're going to need some cash. And unless Superman starts resorting to robbing some banks, they're going to have to figure out something. But he's got a lot of stress going on. A lot of stress. I will say another complaint I had was that the only time we see him being Superman is when General Lane calls him up on the little pager thing. We don't see him being Superman anywhere else. And it's like he just works for General Lane. And I get he's like a general in the United States Army and all that kind of stuff, but he's going to be needed elsewhere. And I'm sure it's just because it's a TV show. It's for the smaller screen. Let's keep focused. Maybe they don't have the budget. Maybe they don't have the time to show him going to other places. But I think that would be nice to show him going to different places to show that he's not just General Lane's Superman. And I think in the preview for the next episode, there's a bridge that's collapsed that he goes to. So hopefully we get some of that. But you got to expand the character for me to be fully bought in. And I'm pretty much bought in. This show is so fantastic. I can see this show not being to the level of WandaVision, but getting kind of near that for a CW show. I can see a lot of eyes being tuned in. I can see a lot of YouTubers jumping on this, talking about it, like The Real Rejects did, which is awesome. I'm such a big fan of their channel. But it's interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. I can see this show getting bigger. And I've been looking forward to this episode ever since I watched the last episode. And with a day and age right now where we can binge and we have streaming and there's so much content, I don't find myself looking forward to too many shows each week. And this one I definitely am. I already can't wait till next week. But those are my thoughts. Absolutely love this episode. I think I liked the first episode a little bit more. It was a little longer, but this was a great sophomore episode, a great follow-up. I want to know, what are your thoughts? What do you guys think about this episode? What are some of the things that I missed talking about that you just thought was fantastic? Again, all around, they covered a lot of bases. They did a great job right here in this episode. Let me know your thoughts. If you haven't done so yet and you like this review, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. We are a new channel. We are trying to grow, and we are really ambitious. So help us do that. Go ahead and give me a like on this video so that more eyes can see it, so that we can grow the final reaction, where we don't just do reaction, we do reviews as well. With all that being said, thank you so much, and until next time, adios.